gas, bloating, diarrhea, stomach cramps. You ate too much chili at the fair the night before. We've all felt that once in a while. But for some people, this gets to be a chronic problem. When it goes on, it can be an indication of IBS, or sometimes people with Crohn's or IBD or other GI issues deal with these things all the time. I'm Betsy Yelmgren, registered dietitian and pediatric nutrition expert. Today we are going to talk about FODMAPs. FODMAPs are fermentable oligo, di, mono-saccharides, and polyols. What the heck is that? These are starches and sugars, different types of carbohydrates that are fermented when we digest them. And this fermentation process can lead to some of the symptoms we're talking about. Fermentation of carbohydrates is a process in which our body is breaking down starches and sugars. And during this fermentation process, we release carbon dioxide and shorter chain sugars, and that can lead to gas, and those short chain sugars can pull water in and lead to diarrhea, constipation, and all of this can cause abdominal distension, distress, and cramping. Carbohydrates are good. In fact, they're a preferred source of energy for brain and muscle, but they can be a source of many problems. The gas and the belching, that can come from carbon dioxide production from that fermentation process. We can also see stool changes, diarrhea, and constipation, or alternating diarrhea and constipation. And this can be a result of the short chain sugars that are produced during fermentation that pull water into the intestines. Osmosis is a physical process where water is moving from a place where it's more concentrated to a place where it's less concentrated. Think of a sponge. A dry sponge has a low water concentration until it gets wet and soaks up the water. This is how osmosis works in our body. When short-chain sugars are released, they're going to be loose in the intestine, and they can soak water up from outside the intestinal area, from the blood and other bodily fluids, into the intestine, bringing water in. This can lead to diarrhea, and it can also cause some constipation or alternating diarrhea and constipation. So what are all these carbs that get fermented, releasing short-chain sugars and carbon dioxide? We call them FODMAPs. FODMAPs is an acronym standing for Fermentable, Oligo, Di, Mono-saccharides, and Polyols. So let's talk about each one of those. The O of FODMAPs is Oligo-saccharides. Oligo-saccharides are long starches. They're found in wheat, certain vegetables like broccoli, onion, and inulin, and we call them fructans. The D in FODMAPs stands for Di-saccharides, di meaning two. These are carbohydrates that are two sugar molecules bound together, such as in the case of lactose, which is milk sugar, or galactans, which are bean and legume sugars. The M of FODMAPs stands for mono-saccharides, mono meaning one, so these are single sugar molecules. The most common one is fructose. Fructose is the natural sugar of fruit. It's found in high concentrations in fruit juices. It's found in even higher concentrations in high fructose corn syrup, which is used by the food industry as a sweetener because it's very cheap to make. Last but not least, we have P. The P of FODMAPs stands for polyols. Polyols are sugar alcohols, and they occur naturally in certain fruits and vegetables like apples, pears, asparagus. But they are also used by the food industry as a sweetener because they're very low in calories naturally. The problem is polyols are large molecules and they're hard to absorb in our intestines. So like our other fermentable carbohydrates, they pull water in and they can cause a lot of diarrhea and gas and bloating. So what do we do if we think FODMAPs are causing our GI symptoms? I recommend doing a trial of a low FODMAPs diet. In this trial, we're going to reduce the amount of high FODMAP foods we eat and see if our symptoms get better. And in some cases, what we'll do is add them back and find out which ones are really triggers for you. Some people are sensitive to all the FODMAP sugars and they just need to kind of moderately eat them all in small amounts. But some people will find out that maybe oligosaccharides bother them the most, or maybe the polyols bother them the most, and those other foods can be added back in and really they're okay. So what I like to recommend is doing a trial for 2 to 6 weeks of a low FODMAPs diet, seeing if you feel better, and then one by one we're going to add them back in and see if our symptoms come back at all and what the symptoms are. I'm going to be talking a lot more about the low FODMAPs diet and how you can use this to help yourself or your child identify what their food triggers are. Keep tuning into our channel with more videos coming soon.